myself, Mark Taylor, and Chief Allen did the interviews. We couldn't find
We knew we couldn't start without you.
it's going to be it. So I worked with them a little bit on this together. They knocked off a couple thousand a year. We let them use our chemicals and stuff that we already have. I'm like,
As long as they keep it.
yeah.
Would everyone please stand for the pledge of allegiance when we stand for a short invocation? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, as we gather this evening, we thank you for this wonderful town that we live in. This council thanks you for the privilege of serving this wonderful town. And we ask for strength, courage, and wisdom in all of our decisions. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Call to order the July 2nd, 2019 meeting of the Mooresville Town Council. Council members have had an opportunity to read the minutes from our second meeting on Tuesday, June 25th. I need a motion that I would approve or amend the minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as they are.
I will second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. First item on the agenda is a street closing permit for Old Settlers Parade. We have someone here representing the school. Apparently not. Ted Long, me, Ken. Council, this is something that we've done every year. Usually we do have a representative in the school here to request it. However, they have not made it. This is for the Old Settlers Parade. It's been going on since, okay? That's been going on for some time. The parade will be, the requested date is August 4th, 2019. Time 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. The parade route is the same as always, starting at school and coming around Main Street, Maple Lane, Carlisle, and back to the school. They do have all of their sign-offs by all of the department heads.
With that, Tom, if the department heads have signed off on it, then I make a motion we approve.
Motion been made to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. In favor?
Aye.
Have a parade. Next item on the agenda is the declaratory for Powder Pro and Last Move LLC. And this was also to set the date of a public hearing for their confirmatory resolution. Mike, what are you going to do?
Kevin.
Council members, this is Powder Pro is the tenant of the building. It's really a 2 SB1, one on real estate, one on personal property. There had been a fire at the building out in Flagstaff several months ago, and this is the company coming back and asking statutorily if the council would approve a tax abatement for them on the new investment beyond what the loss was, the new equipment that they're putting in the building as well. So this is the declaratory, and then council would set up the confirmatory process for the public hearing to be in a few weeks. So this has been delayed a little bit because they had to clean up some paperwork with the Secretary of State on their tax status. It was really a procedural error rather than anything duplicitous, so they're back in order with the state now, and that's why we're moving forward with this request this evening. So this is the first step of the tax payment process. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Council members, the first resolution will be Resolution 3, 2019. And this is the resolution for, I want to make sure that I have this correct, for the Powder Pro, the business portion of it. And this is for personal property. It would be Resolution 3, 2019. I need a motion to either approve or amend it, or approve or deny.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
I will second.
Motion been made. All in favor?
Aye.
The next one will be for the real property, and it is for Last Move LLC. It will be Resolution 4, 2019. I need a motion to approve or deny.
I'll make a motion that we approve for 2019.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Nothing. Just one copy. Next item on the agenda is Stephen Wilson, Grandview Crime Watch Block Party. Stephen, if you would. Stephen reached out to me Saturday and has been planning a block party in Grandview. Wanted to personally invite all of us. That's not what you wanted, was it? Actually, explained that there's one short dead-end street where he lives, but he didn't know if he could block it off or not. It is not a through street. I feel
Thank you.
like we need to address it.
Good, how are you?
Basically, just short synopsis. My name is Stephen Wilson. I'm the president of the Grandview Neighborhood Crime Watch, established about 2 years ago. Been here once before getting a sign set up, and we had two meetings, two main meetings. They're a year after.
That's a huge thing, really, right, guys?
That's the last time we're having too much fun with me right
Yeah.
My wife and I and our two young kids moved to Mooresville in September 2016. Soon after moving into Grandview, we noticed that petty crime was on a slight increase, something that we were told never really happened in the neighborhood prior. So, that being said, as a young adult, I volunteered in our community quite a bit. I was first enlisted in the United States Marine Corps until being medically retired from the Marine Corps. My wife and I have been doing medical mission trips around the world. Organizations like the American Legion and the Marine Corps League, where I currently serve as the elected chaplain for each organization here locally in Mooresville. Our Crime Watch has two main reasons. One is to reduce any and all crime by deterrence and active participation of our own homeowners or home occupants for those who actually rent. And see it, and we've told them in multiple newsletters and so on and so forth that they see something suspicious, report it. And Chief Allen came to our meeting just a few months ago again, and according to the numbers and stats from him, I believe our first year was a great success, and future years will only get better. Our calls into the database have almost doubled, and crime has gone down, so it's a good thing. Basically, I'm trying to throw this block party that you see in front of you there. I've gotten corporate sponsorship on it for food and drink, so on and so forth. A number of local businesses that donate gift cards, gift certificates for the residents of Grandview and Johnson Road. Those are the individuals that that are in our crime watch to benefit from, to encourage them to come and we're trying to basically bring the neighbor back into the neighborhood, which is very, very important. So all I'm asking tonight is my road, which is the second sheet there. My house is the little orange dot on your paperwork there. I don't know if you guys are familiar. It's a law enforcement personnel by the name of Bill Bucks used to live at my house. And he sold us the house in 2016. But we are the only street on that road. My neighbor right across from us is Bill McLaughlin III. He has given us permission to use his side yard as well for games. We tried to get a bounce house, but my insurance company would not allow that. Too much liability. So we're stuck with yard games, cornhole, stuff like that. It's still going to be enjoyable. Like I said, we're like you see on your flyers, we've got a DJ who's volunteered this time to come out for our block party to bring the neighbors together. Let me rephrase that. My wife and I have done this, mainly me. But I think it's very important to bring all the neighbors together to establish the communication that we need to make the neighborhood safer and to make it one of the best neighborhoods in Mooresville. Continuing. So what I'm asking tonight is, where you see my street, if is it Public Works or Streets Department can put a barricade, possibly just bring it, deliver it, and then we'll set it up from 4 to 11 p.m. on Saturday, the 20th, and then we'll take it back down and have the Mooresville Streets Department pick it back up afterwards. Just to make sure that nobody's going to park on that city street right there. We normally don't have anyone park there anyways, but it would be our luck that we throw the block party and someone decides to have another party of their own and it gets filled up with vehicles. Any questions?
I'll answer questions for Stephen.
Sorry.
As this is my neighborhood, I will attest that this is pretty much a dead end and probably would have minimal impact on any kind of traveling traffic or anything like that through the housing addition. I know that there's 4 or 5, maybe 6 individuals in the audience right now that probably would second that as well.
Dave, you got any input?
Awesome.
Permission for him to close that street from 4 until 11 p.m. on July 20th.
I'll make that motion.
I will second.
Motion made, second, all in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Steve, for everything you do for us.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Next item on the agenda is the additional appropriation from CCD. This is a public hearing, I don't know if we're going to sign that. Not sure if you can put a sign out, but if anyone's willing that wants this to be made. This is, going back to October, November of last year, this is when we had approved purchase of the tower for the police department, the turnout gear for the fire department, computers for the town hall, computers for the court. There were several items there that we had put in there, and we had approved them at $197,039.76. We granted that. We ordered the equipment. Some of it came in before the end of the year, some of it didn't. But the main thing is none of it got billed at the end of last year. And our budgets, we appropriated for last year $300,000 out of CCD for purchases just like this. We had spent the $197,000 is what we had chose to spend. We also appropriated $300,000 for emergency expenditures or expenditures such as this for this year. What happened is once we started paying those bills, we saw that $197,000 was coming out of this year's budget and not last year's budget. It was appropriated for last year. We just did not encumber or bring those POs over with us. So in order to clean that up, we have additional appropriated the $197,000 from last year's budget. CCD is a reverting fund, so that means those funds actually go right back into the fund. So we're not spending any additional money than what we had proposed to. We're just making sure that it comes out of that fund and still leaves us that fund in case of emergencies. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone who wants to speak on behalf of this or against?
Make a motion, the public hearing be closed.
Motion made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? And I need a motion to approve the appropriation resolution. Resolution number 6, 2019. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Something that is not on our agenda that I want to address. Earlier on the agenda, there was a section under the legal counsel for an engagement letter for investigation. What had happened on that was our chief of police, Chief Allen, had filed a grievance against one of our council members. He filed it with the police commission. The police commission sent that to their legal counsel. Their legal counsel advised them that that was not their position, that that had to come to the council. When that was forwarded to me, I forwarded it to our legal counsel. Our legal counsel stated very clearly that the appearance of us, one of us investigating one of our own would come out that we were biased for our own council members. The way that that is set up is at that point in time, we would have asked for a letter of engagement from someone to investigate this. It would have kept it sanitary, it would have kept the council out of it, and the information would have been brought back to us. This afternoon, I received an email from our chief of police that he wanted to rescind his grievance and with no further pursuing it at this time. I forwarded that to legal counsel and to all of our council members. From that point on, that was pulled from our agenda. I wanted to be sure that that was explained why it was put from our agenda. Do we have anything under unfinished business? Other business?
I have, somebody else was in front, I
No,
apologize.
please. I have a lot.
I've probably given you 37 different times we're gonna have an open house at the new police station. But we're going to have one on July 15th, on a Monday. I'm not saying that everything's gonna be perfect, but there's a few things we're trying to get done outside. Still some computers that need to be installed. They're all there now, but this will give the public a chance at that point in time to see every inch inside and outside. The evidence lockers, where the evidence is going to be stored, things that none of us ever get to see. But you'll be able to see at least where it's going to be. So we're excited about that. As I said, a few things inside and a few things outside to do, but July 15th from 4 to 7. And Mindy's going to graciously put that in the paper. So I'm excited for the town of Mooresville to see this. That's all I.
Time again?
4 to 7.
Under other business? Justin, you got something?
I have a lot. The process of the animal control service started quite a while ago, and in this we found some policies need updated. And kudos to Mark for keeping that job for as long as he did. Job descriptions, things like that, and myself and David Rogers, Councilman Rogers, were tasked with setting up interviews and conducting interviews, and it was a very long process. And before you, I presented to all members tonight with a proposal of services from the Morgan County Humane Society to add an additional option. This option could save us money. They are, one of the kind of logistical things for the public is we have town limits, which just use outside my housing addition is Johnson Road. And some houses are in town limits, some are county. How would we differentiate, where a dog's running from yard to yard to yard and into the street and by the hospital? So the Humane Society currently services Martinsville and the county. So if Mooresville, if we would choose to sign up, would actually alleviate that logistical problem. They have quite a bit of experience. Been talking to quite a few of them down there, and let me know all the fun things and stories and all that has happened in the town. I would ask that we give each council member time to look this proposal over and bring it up at our next meeting. Any questions?
Just a comment I'll add. Currently, with the way Mark was, he wasn't always available, not his fault, but when we have a part-time person that's doing this, then we rely upon the police department and the street department to substitute in for animal control. We kind of discussed that may not be the best way of moving forward, but we're keeping within the same budget that we have for the part-time folks, and we was kind of struggling getting people that would be more flexible with time, that the Humane Society would be providing a service more readily accessible to everyone, and hopefully relieving the street department and the police department from constantly having to respond and keep the dogs out while they're waiting on someone to get off of work and those type of things. So I think it's going to be a pro for the town as a whole and get some better services in. About final tabling it.
Thank you. Any other questions on the Humane Society?
They've been kind of helping us out currently, haven't they?
Kind of, yes.
Semi.
Comments from any of the officers, is that working, not working?
Would that help?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do you want to come up there or?
for the dozens of watching at home.
So I have a couple of questions on
Yep.
this particular issue I guess we're having. Will the Humane Society be able to issue any sort of town ordinance or state statute?
That is an excellent question. I do not believe that they have that authority.
Okay, so we are going to, as a town, pay the Humane Society to do that portion of taking the dogs and things of that nature, but you're still gonna add something onto the police department that we still have to do that we wouldn't have had to do if we had animal control.
That's correct, and that's how the county sheriff's department's set up as well, I believe. Is that
Okay.
correct, Dallas?
I'm sorry.
If animal
He's
control,
trying to talk.
so the sheriff's side, and I believe it's the same for Martinsville. So if animal control gets called out by the county, and it needs a citation, the deputy still goes out
Yeah,
and does that, or do they?
Yeah, the IC code part of it does fall upon the deputies. As far as removing the animals, that's part of that.
Is that even with county ordinance though, or are they authorized to?
We don't hardly deal with the ordinance part of it for the county. We just don't have.
Hate to put you on the spot, but-
Available to us, but mostly the IC code, if there's any, Indiana IC code that's been broken, we handle it. We handle that part of it, and they take the animal and deal with it, so.
And that's something we can find out. but-
And here is my other question. So we're taking this part-time money and putting it where? How much is the Humane Society, and then what are we doing with the existing amount that we would have paid salary to a part-time animal control?
Currently, Mark makes with about 22 with a budget of 10, so about 32.
Mhm.
They're proposing 23,000.
Okay, so what are we doing with that extra?
We can put it back into whatever fund we really need to. I mean, we're talking about 7,000,
Okay.
9,000 maybe. And they would also have to prorate this year. And since there's no historical data, they have asked that both of us have an option to terminate at any time.
Okay, so could I suggest something, as far as putting more work onto the police department, because we've never had an issue with any of the ordinances or anything of that nature. I've never had to issue animal ordinance, I've never had to issue state statute, we've always had animal control, so now we're putting more work onto our officers. With that extra money that we are saving for going with the Humane Society, I think it would be an excellent idea if we put it back into the police department, since we're giving our officers some extra work that we have to do.
It's definitely something that can be considered.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Thank you. With that, I need to move on to my next.
Bring this up at the next meeting. Okay.
Yep,
That'll give us an opportunity to find out more.
Absolutely.
Questions.
thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Are, I don't want to go up there. Are they going to hire an additional person, or are they just going to stretch what they have thinner?
that is entirely up to them.
Okay.
I see maybe that they would have to hire somebody, but they do have emergency staff based out of here is what I was told, so.
I was just curious.
Yep, thank you. Next, so because of all the logistical problems, writing the job description, kind of dabbling into the HR side of things, I figured that council members may have an option to look at something like this. And this letter that I presented to you tonight, it's dated Valentine's Day of this year, but it's a consulting firm. It's a third-party consulting firm currently being used by the county. I believe they're based out of Muncie. To come in and kind of look over a lot of policies, a lot of employee handbooks, and then later on, they are a little diligent in their time. They would like to maybe look at compensation studies, rewriting some of those department head job descriptions and other job descriptions as well, but it was their recommendation that we start from the ground up and go with the employee policy handbook for the town. For public record, this is, they're looking just to update that portion at about 12,000 to 14,600. And after that, we would have the option to use them on a per hourly basis. I've heard nothing but good things from our county officials on this certain group, but I have presented a packet with information to help each council member. Again, I would like to table this to the next meeting so council members have a opportunity to look at these proposals.
I didn't get one of those. Thank you.
You're welcome. Questions or comments from the council?
You said that the county is using them?
Yes. Yes, I've heard nothing but good things, including today. They are currently working with the county on basically the same track as they would us.
Okay. Sandy, would you please put those two items on the agenda?
Thank you, council members.
In other business, Sandy did present to me, apparently she has gotten this today. This is part of the AT&T agreement on the phone lines at our police department. When we went to the fiber, or to the phone service that we have now throughout the town, we cut those lines down with the understanding that we would cut them again come time to move into our new building. We're going to port 4 numbers over to Endeavor. There are certain phone lines that we will have to keep with AT&T. Gives us kind of a backup. There will be 4 lines that we continue to stay with them. We are terminating the end of one contract and beginning a new one. I need council's permission to move forward with that.
We're clear though that has nothing to do with the 911
It
contract.
has nothing to do with the 911 that's going to the county.
Correct.
These are the callback lines.
I understand, but I just want to make sure they understand that. That's my only concern.
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract with AT&T.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Legal counsel.
Nothing additional?
Department heads, Dave, did you have something?
Thank you. Good evening. Grady Brothers will begin milling our streets to be overlaid. Paving will begin on Monday, and they should finish up by the end of the week. We're still doing a lot of repair work on our stormwater infrastructure and continuing a lot of work at our cemeteries. And we've got a crew at the park helping to get ready for this week's 4th of July celebration. So that. Thanks.
Are there any public comments?
So this is not me coming at you guys, okay, in any way. Jessica, how are you doing today?
Great, how are you?
I'm doing good. So, I guess what I would like to say is I think the grievance part of what was being filed by the chief of police is crazy. You've got a group of guys back here that are good officers, okay? They're here because they're concerned with how they're being treated at this department, okay? They're not I mean, how many of these guys have been written up for small minor infractions? I'm willing to bet every one of these guys can raise their hands back here that they've been written up and treated unfairly. I know my wife can. My wife can raise her hand and say I've been treated unfairly. Criminal investigations for what? Let's treat her. Let's have a criminal investigation against my wife for something that had occurred with a female who made a statement against her with clear mental issues. And we're having criminal investigations. All I'm saying, guys, is something's got to be done. I don't know what. Something's got to be done. We can't just run roughshod over employees. It's just not how it goes. You're supposed to be there for your guys and treat your guys well. You're not supposed to look to get them in trouble. When they wreck a car, they hit a deer, they slide off the road because the roads are icy. Those aren't things you write your people up for. I know in my heart that David Rogers would not write somebody up because they were on a jail transport in the ice and slid off of the roadway, because that's not the kind of man that David is. We've got to do something. Something's got to be fixed. I think it's crazy. Okay? So.
I do have a question. Has anyone talked to Danny Allen about why he did not pursue with the grievance?
I have not.
Has anyone?
No.
Right before the meeting? No one has talked to him?
Nope.
I didn't know if there was an issue, what the reason was, why he did it.
I forwarded the email that I received.
I do have one question pertaining to the grievance that was filed by our chief of police. What are the factual basis of his filings?
We pushed it, as soon as we got it, we pushed it to legal counsel. We did not act on it as far as trying to do any investigation or anything like that. Quite honestly, I've never experienced it before. I've never seen it before with a council member. So I directed it immediately to legal counsel to make sure that we did everything properly, to where it couldn't come back that I know that it could come back that we were trying to protect, it's us trying to protect each other as far as a council. So that's exactly why I sent it directly to you.
Okay, and you were the only person that received this email from our chief of police?
I didn't
So
receive
he
it.
sent you the grievance and not
I didn't.
anyone else?
I did not receive it from our chief of police. I received it from our police commission.
Okay, so he sent it to the police commission and they only sent it to you?
You sent it to your attorney first, and then you sent it to me, and then I sent it to him.
Okay. My original question, I'll try to make it a little bit more clear. What were the reasons why he felt like there needed to be a grievance filed?
I don't know that I spoke to him when I did.
What was on the grievance as to why he filed a grievance? That's what I'm asking. Has there been a reason why he filed a grievance? I would like to know what it is.
I don't know. I have the grievance here to tell you. Yeah.
I have it.
I have a copy, I'll read it to you if you like.
Okay, yeah, please, that'd be great.
The grievance says, I believe Jessica Hester, town board member, has created a hostile work environment by requesting information outside the scope of her role as a town board member when the police commission has already dealt with the issue at hand. That's all it says.
Okay. So, when she filed the necessary paperwork of information that she wanted to gather, whether it be because she's on the council or not, the information that she filed created a hostile work environment?
I just read it.
Okay.
I don't have any, I just read you what he filed. That's
So
all.
if I were to come in and ask for information, where do we think that would have gone? If I asked for information as an employee of the town? Would that have gone anywhere?
What kind of information?
Like if someone were to file a grievance on me, let's just say I asked for the same thing she asked, would someone file a grievance on me? Where would it go from here?
I don't think anybody here can explain why anybody filed a grievance.
No, that's not what I'm asking. Let's say somebody did. Okay, so let's say this went through and he didn't retract. Where would that go? And what would happen?
Well, what the town council, and what my recommendation was, at that point, someone needs to investigate that grievance. That's what you do with complaints. And I suggested it be an independent, somebody independent, and suggested the town council look into engaging someone to do an independent investigation for the town council.
Okay, so would it be from your firm or someone else's firm, or how would that work out?
It could be from any of those sources, yes.
So would it be any conflict if it came from your,
Firm, no.
okay.
So if the person doing the investigation was from your firm, there would be no conflict of interest. Because you could represent me and say they're trying to find something against me. You represent me as a town council member, yet the person that works with you would be doing an investigation on me.
No, yes, I don't represent you, I represent the town council.
I'm a town council member. You'd represent me as a town council member, would you not?
I represent the town council, I don't represent any individual member here. As an
But as a town council member, you are my legal, correct?
when we're dealing with town business, not a personal grievance.
But the personal grievance was on me as a town council member, town board member. So you would be my legal, would you not?
Depending on how it played out, there's no way to know at this point.
I think that this is getting a little ridiculous, and I think some people can agree. I mean, I'm not trying to pull a female card, but I do not understand how we have gotten to this point where she is the only one that's being singled out. Time and time again, every time we come into these meetings, she is being singled out. I don't understand. Personally, I don't get it. As a taxpayer and I live in the town, I don't understand. We're sitting and trying to take someone and every meeting we talk about something she's doing. But yet we're not addressing that Mr. Mathis here yelled at an individual during a meeting when simply asking a question. What are we doing in regards to that?
I apologize, I didn't know that any single turnout. This issue here just came up.
That's not what I asked you. I asked you what we're gonna do pertaining to Mr. Mathis yelling at someone that come up and asked a question. May not have been a question that he had liked, but it was still a question that was asked. Would you agree?
Would I agree that?
Would you agree that it was a question asked and it may not have been a question that he liked? It was still a question asked and he shouldn't have yelled at anyone. So what are we doing about that?
Here's the difference in whether we agree or disagree with each other. We didn't write agreements. It was the chief of police.
I know, but I'm asking a direct question.
Either you want me to answer or you don't.
Go ahead.
Okay. So no one has put a formal complaint in that they've been upset, where this other one is a formal complaint that we have to address because it's an employee just the same as you. Just you have to go to the police commission because that's your first step. He would have to go to us because it was versus council.
I understand.
Now, I have not seen one complaint
Okay.
about Mr. Mathis, and nothing's formally been filed to this town council about that behavior. So
Okay.
I cannot speculate, nor can anyone else on this council, how or whether that will be. Because we are individually elected officials,
Sure.
meaning that we do kind of act on our own behalf, same as voting or anything else.
I understand.
So, first of all, we don't have a formal complaint to even
Okay.
address.
Sure.
So that's why we don't address it.
Okay. So we are bringing up a formal complaint that's been retracted and we're putting it on minutes and on record because it's been retracted. So why are we even bringing it
I
up?
think that
if
was
that's
for the
case?
transparency that this town has been asked to have.
So we're bringing stuff up that was on the agenda and now is retracted and then we put it back on the agenda as if it was.
I'm not gonna argue the point, but it was on an agenda, and I promise you, with my time setting on this council, if you don't address something that was on and then off, you're gonna be bashed about that, because everyone wants transparency, and that is transparency.
I have a question. With this being a personnel issue, shouldn't that be something in an executive session, not brought to a public meeting?
Well, it would be if it was a town employee.
she a town employee?
She's an elected official.
Elected official.
Okay.
But Danny's a town employee, correct?
Yes, he is. But that deals with misconduct by a town employee. That goes into an executive session.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Just have a thought that I just want to throw out there to you guys. As a human resources professional, all the things that I'm seeing here are all things that an HR person should be able to deal with. So as we're spending money for, services there, and we have to pay someone to do an investigation, wouldn't it be, and I understand budgets are set for this year, but wouldn't it be ideal to start thinking, maybe this town needs a human resources professional that could step in and fill those roles. So I just ask the town to think about that for future budget purposes, that maybe we need an HR person to step in and start pulling and answering some of these questions.
It's a great suggestion.
I just have a couple questions. When the police department is fully staffed, how many members does it have?
We're budgeting for 22.
And how many does it currently have? We just brought in through. How many officers have been here less than a year?
The three.
Just the three. Okay. I just wondered, I knew that we had lost some longtime officers. I just wondered how many officers were new and what the turnover was, because in all the years I've lived here, there hasn't been that high of a turnover. So I was just curious. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council members, we did receive, and I needed to put this, we did receive appraisals on the two properties, the old street garage, Greencastle Road, Main Street, and then also on the police department. We, at some point in time, have an executive session to discuss the sale of property. Just a feel for when anyone may be able to do that as far as scheduling it next week. Monday is,
The RDC is looking at rescheduling. I do not have an update. I will fall on the sword. My wife and I was due today. Our lovely new daughter came a little early, so we had to postpone the RDC till next week due to a lack of quorum.
so
What day is that?
They have no determination. I can only speculate, and this is speculation, that it would be on Thursday. That's just a guess holding to their normal schedules.
what is it, normal Thursdays or Wednesdays?
Thursday.
Yes, good.
I cannot Tuesday.
Okay, so Wednesday would work.
Not for me.
Did you say yes or
I said not for me.
not for you? What if, what time do you usually have your meetings on
6 o'clock.
Thursday?
6 o'clock unless there's an executive session at 5:30.
Could we do, how early could we do Thursday and wrap it into one? Could you do that?
Could you do one on Thursday?
Sure.
So could we do, if you.
I can't Thursday.
Thursday evening?
I have something at 1:30.
Well, what I meant was if we did it like at 4 or
Okay.
4:30,
Yeah.
could we, and that would wrap you into,
Yeah.
that would give you one meeting night.
I
with
greatly,
the baby.
yes, the baby and mama greatly appreciates that she's blowing up my thumb.
Yeah.
Marcy, could you do 4:30?
On the 11th? That's a week from the Yeah, week from Thursday is the 11th.
Yes, it is.
That way we can discuss the possible sale of it, and then our meeting on Tuesday with a description of what we need to do for it. That's acceptable to do that?
Yes. Well, I was gonna say, we have a BZA meeting next Thursday at 6, but it's been canceled.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. So, motion to have an executive session 4:30 next Thursday.
I'll make a motion that we have an executive session reference sale of property Thursday, the 11th of July at 4:30.
I will second.
Motion made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion for approval of payment.
Make a motion that we approve claims in the amount of $673,180.63.
Motion approved.
I will second
Oh, wait,
that.
We better vote on that.
Motion been made.
Yeah. I will second.
Made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
I will make said motion.
I'll second.
Motion made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye. Thanks, everybody, for coming out, and thanks for the comments. And happy July 4th.
Camera's only getting on top of your head. Point it down a little.
Our camera is?
Somebody must have playing golf.
Screen shows up, right?
All right. I have. Sign, I'll put it on.
So our cameras are? Yeah. Well, look at the screen now.
So crossing our fingers.
Well, it is coming out. I see that now. It's like